How you doing, guys? Welcome to the very first episode of Fast TV. I'm your host, Javier Tirado. If you're joining us for the very first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button on the bottom there, and also turn on the notifications. That way you know when we're getting our next video coming out. So guys, this is a brand new channel for us. Right now we're sitting at my home office / studio. So this is where I try to do a lot of my editing and everything else that I do. This is something brand new that I'm doing. I'm trying to learn how the YouTube works. Never done YouTube other than watch, so this is very new for me. Alright guys, today we're going to actually be covering some information. I've gotten a lot of requests online through social media, things like that. There's some info that those that know me and have known of me have asked before in the past about the 71 Skyline that I helped put together for the Fast and Furious movies. The car actually belongs to my buddy Wayne. I met Wayne back in 2000, right in 2000. And it was the funniest thing. We met at a car meet. Somebody had referred him to me to come to my shop at the time to get some work done on his car. And he told me a little bit about his car and things that's going on. I said, yeah, I'll go ahead and meet, we'll go ahead and meet up. And he explained what kind of engine was in it and things like that. And at that point, he told me over the phone, I got a 71 Skyline, da-da-da. When we actually got together and started talking, he tells me, yeah, it's got this engine, it's got this. In my head, I'm like, okay, whatever. He's got a Datsun Z. No big deal. He's just calling it a Skyline. Because to me, ain't no way somebody's got a 71 Skyline here in the middle of nowhere, Florida. I said, you know what? I'll just come over to your place. I'll go over the card. I'll give you a hand, no problem. We'll get this figured out. So he went and gave me his address. I went over to his place, and as soon as I got there, I said, hey, so Wayne, where's the car? He's like, oh, I got it in the garage. So as soon as he opens that garage door, and I see that door come up, my jaw hit the ground. I could not believe it was actually, oh crap. It is a 71 Skyline sitting here in front of me. So I immediately turned around to Wayne and said, hey, I owe you an apology, man. I honestly thought you were full of shit. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, there's just no way I would think that there would be a 71 Skyline here in the States. Now granted, this is back, early 2000s. The Skyline, 71 Skylines at that weren't even as known. So immediately I dug into the car. I started going through, see what had to be done. A few weeks into it, went ahead and got the car fixed, got it running, got it where it needed to be at, and me and him started talking. I said, so Wayne, what you have this awesome car. Well, what's your goals with the car? What are you looking to get out of it? And one of the first things he mentioned, he's like, well, I'd like to have it in Super Street magazine. I think it'd be pretty dope. I said, all right, I got you. So I contacted Jonathan Wong over at Super Street at the time. This was, I had met him back doing the Super Street tours from 94 and up when I lived in Orlando. So I went in, gave him a call, some information, said, hey, I got a perfect car for your back in the day issue of Super Street magazine. Sent him a couple pictures that I had, which back then cameras sucked and resolution was horrible. But it was what we had at the time. He saw it, he was like, definitely want to shoot this car, want to make an article on it. When can we meet up? And of course, Nopi Nationals was coming up around that time. I said, hey, let's meet up at Nopi Nationals, so let's do this shoot. So he's like, down. We went ahead and did that. Got the photo shoot done. Everything came out great. It was some nice rolling shots, things like that. You could actually see that car in the January 2003 issue of Super Street magazine. So if y'all have some old Super Streets, just dig into it. You'll be able to see it. I am going to try to put some pictures up on the screen from that article. I'm pretty sure I still have that magazine laying around here. I got tons and tons of Super Streets. So now that we get that photo shoot done in Super Street, we hit his goal that he wanted. Said, hey, so what's next? What do we want to do? He's like, man, I don't know. He wasn't sure. You know what? No, Fast and Furious had just come out, and they're about to do Too Fast, Too Furious, or so I heard. So I was like, hey, let's try to get the car in the film. I thought it'd be pretty cool to get the car in the film. So I reached out to a few folks, sent out some information, some feelers out there. I did find out there was a casting call for Too Fast, Too Furious, but it had just passed. So we missed that. We're like, oh well, shit. You know, what are we gonna do? So we missed the shoot. I said maybe if they make another film, we'll try to reach out at that point. And lo and behold, there was a third film that was put together. And because our information was already out there, that we had put in for Too Fast Too Furious, we got contacted for Tokyo Drift. And it worked out even perfect. Of course, right-hand drive car. It's a true JDM. It is a true JDM Japan car. So it was a perfect fit for the film. So we struck an agreement with Universal Studios for them to rent the car to use on the film. And it was perfect timing for us also. We just finished building the new L28 with direct port nitrous on there and the triple Mikunis. It's making great power. And about 2.5 weeks before we get ready to leave for California, we get a call from John Weiser letting us know, hey, there might be an issue. We can't use the car. We're like, well, what's wrong? Why can't we use it? He says, well, unfortunately, the car being white, at the time, it would throw off the camera, the film, and that's one of the things the director was worried about. So he said, hey, if you're willing to paint the car a different color or black, we can still use it. So having only a couple weeks, we said, screw it. Yeah, we'll paint it black, no problem. So we went ahead and went to town, got the car painted black, and then we got our happy ass on the road and straight to California. On our way to LA, we went ahead and made a pit stop over in San Diego and hung out with my buddy Nolan Glidewell. He was stationed at the NAS base right there. And we hung out for about a day, then we went ahead and made our way to the set, where we started getting everything checked in and met up with John Weiser, and I actually met Craig Lieberman over there for a little bit. He was checking out the car, as you can see in the pictures I have here. Here's a close-up of the L28 that we built with the direct port nitrous, triple Mikunis, all that good stuff. And yeah, we made our way onto the set and walked on through, got to see a lot of really cool cars while we were there. Again, it was a closed set. You weren't allowed to film and take pictures. I was able to sneak a couple pictures here and there while I was on set, until I finally got caught and they told me, hey, you can't do this, and I had to sign a non-disclosure type deal that no pictures were to be released till after the filming was completed. But here are some of the pictures that I was able to keep with me. There's one of Wayne with his Skyline. There's some more of the cars as they were getting lined up, getting ready to do some of the filming. Another one with Wayne in the background there. You can see the Speed Zone logo on the windshield. Another cool thing that happened, John asked me to move some of these vehicles around during in the filming, to move them from there back to the garage where they're going to be put together and reassembled and repaired for some of the ones that were damaged during filming. Overall, it was a really cool experience being able to see how things are being made, how the filming goes together, and to see what the behind the scenes. It was really fun to actually be there and enjoy this. One question I always get is, was any of the driving real? And I can tell you 100% absolutely the driving was real. Now, some of the backgrounds, of course, were CGI, like a lot of the mountain racing scenes, things like that. But as far as the actual driving, it was 100% real. And of course, it was done in closed sets with stunt drivers. Now, the car was supposed to be featured in Han's garage, and unfortunately, one of the grips, as they were getting ready to put all the vehicles, stage them in the garage, he accidentally kicked the fuse box and ripped one of the wires and started smoking. So they freaked out. They thought there was a fire, so they ended up not using the vehicle, unfortunately. So it did not make any screen time during Tokyo Drift because of this. But the director did put it in the script of the movie.
Ready to do this another car, hon? I'm ready to take that 86 Corolla off your hands. All right. Put up the 72 Skyline. Done.
Although they got the year wrong, it's a 71, but hey, it still got on film. I thought it was pretty dope. Wayne was very happy, and once we got the car back, we started going to more events, showing off the car. We ended up going to another Nopi Nationals that was coming up. It was an indoor event, one of the first ones they'd done in a long time. So once we started doing this and going to different places, we started brainstorming about, hey, what can we do next? Of course, the L28, although it was a great engine, with that nitrous, it just created so much torque. We felt we should try to go with something a little retro, but still make a lot of power and not as much torque. So we opted for the FJ20 out of a DR30 Skyline. Once we decided what type of engine management we're going to use on this new engine, we sourced out FJ20. We had a custom manifold from Ben Diggles over in New Zealand sent to us. And at that point, we just went to town, started working on the car. We had Robert Watson, aka Mugen Rob, come in with some fabrication work for us. He was able to make the 3-inch downpipe plus the clearance on the body for it to go past the turbo manifold so we would hit the firewall. He also custom made an oil pan with a baffle for us. We ended up having to flip that pan around just to be able to make that engine work with the cross member. And some custom solid mounts, still keep rigid on the frame, but without damaging any of the original unibody of the car, which was not easy to do. Once we completed the mock-up process and started plumbing everything together, went ahead and got ready to drop that engine in there and have it running. Rewired the whole car, brand new fuse box system, headlight to tail light, all new wiring. Now all we have left to do is to tune the car and see how much power we can get out of this new setup. We estimated somewhere around 350 or so, but before we even had a chance to go ahead and start the tuning on it, we get another phone call, and it was John Weiser hitting us up, said, hey, we want to use the car for another film. We're going to be making a Fast 5, and we want it to be a feature car in this movie. So we looked at each other, we're like, hell yeah, let's get this done. We were excited. The only thing it was, again, a little bit short notice. We needed to get the car prepped and ready to go, and we hadn't even tuned it yet. There was no way I'd have time to do any type of street tuning with this, so I reached out to my buddy Johnny Adams over at Adams Automotive, and we used his dyno facility over there. He gave us a hand. We actually went through, did a quick tune on it, kept it for about 4 to 5 psi of boost. You know, for movie cars, you don't have to be the fastest thing out there. You just have to look like you can go fast, and of course, at least have all the sounds and everything else. Now that we had the car completed, it was ready to go to Fast 5 for filming. So this vehicle got packed up at Jacksonville Port, and we went ahead and sent it over to Brazil for film work there. It also went to Puerto Rico for some film work, and eventually it made its way back here to the States, Jacksonville, for green screen work. But this was a Hero 1 car during the Fast 5 film. In fact, in the very beginning of the movie, it is the first car that you see, and Paul Walker's driving that with Mia as they're coming up to the Brazilian ghetto, I guess is what you would consider it. Now the car was outfitted with a lot of instruments inside the dash, and of course the nitrous system was being introduced into it as well. But unfortunately they wanted the car to look more original during the filming, so all those items were removed after we shipped the car out. We actually didn't have any idea that was happening till we got the car back from Universal. And we get the car and everything's missing, and then a week later a pallet shows up with all our stuff on it. So it's one of those things they didn't tell you. Once you rent it out, they can do whatever they want to it, but they'll always compensate you to put everything back together how it originally was. I know Wayne was a nervous wreck the whole time, not knowing 100% the status of the car, what's going on, things like that. It was gone for pretty much about 6 months total before we got the car back. So that's your baby, pride and joy. You don't know. I felt the same way, although I don't own the car. It's still my pride and joy for having my hands up in this car and putting everything together for it and making it what it is. So you can imagine what it felt like when John Weiser gives us a call and we're like, oh shit, something happened to the car. No, it was actually Paul Walker on the other end of the line, and had a conversation with Wayne and loved the car, loved how it was put together. And he actually offered to buy the car, which of course we was told, no, sorry, it's not for sale. And although I'm sure he didn't like hearing that no for an answer, he did say, if it ever is for sale, please let me be the first one to buy this car. I will snatch it up in a heartbeat. Later, after the release of the film, we did find on Vin Diesel's VinBook this video of him and Paul Walker next to the car, just going crazy.
You couldn't find this if you wanted to in Japan. So I can buy it? Damn, man, you can't even find this in Tokyo.
I know.
This is rare, man.
So after getting the vehicle back from Universal and having all the parts come in through, me and Wayne looked at each other and said, you know what, let's do a full restoration, give this thing a proper paint job and get everything 100% beautiful on this car. And so we immediately started working on the car again. It's just something we're passionate about, we love doing, and we love the car itself. So, of course, time, effort, money, it's not, takes a lot of it. And life kind of usually gets in the way, and so, a few divorces later and moving around and things like that. didn't quite get all the time put into the car like we wanted to. So, and of course now, last year, we actually had a plan last year to do a full restoration on the car or I should say, complete the restoration of the car. Now, of course, COVID just kind of screwed all that up last year, but we're not waiting around anymore. We're going to go ahead and get it done, and we're going to push, and we're going to bring this car right back to its original glory. We're getting the car delivered hopefully end of January or beginning of February, and this is where it's going to be its new home from now on while I'm there, and be able to do all this work to the car. We have an in-house dyno, in-ground dyno, that makes it so much easier to be able to tune this vehicle now. And we're going to be covering every bit of it right here on Fast TV. So we're going to be taking all the footage as we're working through the car. You'll see a couple different episodes pop up through there. We have other projects that we're currently working on as well. So guys, go ahead and stay tuned with us. We're going to be bringing some awesome stuff to you. And of course, the editing, the filming, all that'll get better. This is new to me. I lost the other half of my footage to a computer crash, and I appreciate you making your way through what I've created today, and it's only going to get better. Things are only going to get better on the footage, coverage, of course the build. You're going to see that. It's got some awesome stuff, guys. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I'll see you soon.
You couldn't find this if you wanted to in Japan. How much money? So I can buy it for you. Damn, man, you can't even find this in Tokyo.
I know.
This is rare, man. Take a nice one.
Yeah.
Whenever you want. Yeah.
Oh, throw some rhymes in there.
Get it, Papa.
Throw some rhymes in there.